Good afternoon and welcome to Enduring Journey to Bliss. My name is Deanne and I wanted to share some care and updates for this orchid. This is a Phalaenopsis orchid and I have had her, I believe this will be the third year that I have had her in my collection. And she's just a beautiful orchid. She has bloomed every year for me, at least one nice spray of blooms, as you can see right there in camera. Unfortunately, there's no scent. Very few Phalaenopsis have a scent unless they are a species variety. And most of these hybrid Phalaenopsis like this are unscented. There are a few that do have scent, but most of them do not. But I think this one is just gorgeous, quite a beautiful plant. I wanted to take a look at the plant, at the roots, and provide an update. I already have a video of this orchid, and there is a playlist for this orchid. This is a no identification orchid, or no ID, but she's quite beautiful, and I really enjoy growing her. So I will go ahead and I will spin her around. I need to go and clean her vessel. Is quite discolored from the fertilizer that I use. But I want to take a look at some of her roots, and some of these are getting squishy, which happens, and I need to remove those. It comes off quite easily if and when they're ready to be removed. And so I need to go ahead and clean this up a little bit. So I'll kind of just do that as I show you how I do that. Typically, I don't cut off the entire root. I simply pull off any velamen that has started to rot and is no longer what I would consider viable. I'm going to see if I can lay her gently on here so that I can use two hands. So this shouldn't be necessary that often once you have a orchid in water culture, but unfortunately, last year, quite a few of my orchids went through some neglect from me. I had quite a bit of things going on with family, and I had to go out of state to help take care of some family things. And during those times, I was not here in my home to care for my orchids the way that I should have. And that resulted in some damage. But I'm hopefully getting those all to recover now and get these orchids back to where they're used to, how it was before all that happened. So I don't take off the orchids. I take off the old rotted velamen, but I don't cut the orchid roots. I leave those because in my head it seems like that they are orchid roots. The velamen is to help them retain and hold moisture. And so in my head, I'm not a horticulturalist, I am not a botanist, but I would think that by leaving the root, not the velamen, not the rotted velamen, but the root intact, it would help draw up some of the nutrients from the fertilizer and the water as the orchid is beginning to grow new roots and kind of recovering from a difficult year last year at no fault of the orchid. So any of these that are soft and squishy, I am removing. Hopefully you can see that, how that is very soft and pliable. So yeah, I want to take those off. Whoops, don't fall. Whereas this over here, this root, I can't squish that at all. That's a nice, firm, healthy root. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the velamin off I can. And the reason that this is doing this is the orchids that went way too long without the routine of wet-dry cycling. And so now that I'm beginning to get them back into that routine, it's a little overwhelming for the roots that were already on the orchid. It is beginning to grow some new roots. And as the plant is receiving better care from me, it will not have near this amount of rotted velamin on it. It's like anything else that you have in your life, whether it's a pet, a child, a partner in your life, you need to care for it, right? Even for your own self. And if you neglect that, then you're going to see the results. And since I had to be away as much as I did, I would try to water when I came back home. But then I would either have to leave again and leave water in the container, or I would pour the water out before I hit the road. And then the orc would be dry for like a week or longer. So getting back into a routine is going to be good for the plant. It's going to be good for me. And new roots will grow. And hopefully this orchid's going to recover just fine. Sadly, all my orchids that I had in my collection during this time frame have kind of gone through the same thing. So as I show you different orchids on my channel, you may think that lady's not taking very good care of her orchids. And you'd be right. Because of family situations, I was not able to care for my orchids the way that I would have liked to. So that is quite a strong, healthy. I can't squish that at all. And these, of course, are the newer ones. They're very healthy. So I'm going to continue. I have a few more, I think, that I need to remove. Wow, that's a really healthy one. Very nice. So, yeah, I think I'm getting down to... And some of these, they do have a discolored look to them. But that doesn't mean that the velamin isn't still viable and healthy. If you look at this one here, let me move this. If you take a look at this one, at this root here, it's a very dark green, and it doesn't really look healthy per se, but when I push that, there is no give. So that is a healthy root still. This is a healthy root. That is not giving. That is okay as well. So, yeah, I think I'm just about done with my removal of velamin for this cleanup session. Whoops, let me move this around like this. Let me fill these up here. No, that feels really good. So, yeah, I think I am just about done with that. Okay. So, the orchid does have, like on this root right here, you can see this is a very strong, nice new root. It has a nice, healthy growth tip right there. You can see the deeper green at the end. Nice, healthy growth tip. This one here actually has a pretty healthy looking growth tip right there. Not quite as healthy as that one looks, but it is a growth tip still growing. Let's look over here on this one. This one here, yeah, you can still see the growth tip. See how there's a different color on the tip? Yeah. So this has bloomed for me multiple times. This was an old spike. This was an old spike. This was an old spike. And this is the current spike. This over here was an old spike. So she's been a nice plant for me over the years. So she is still has a healthy stem here. Her monopodial is what these Phalaenopsis are. That means they grow one stem. And so she's looking pretty healthy. I'm going to try and remove, this is an old leaf part right here. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to try to remove that. I try to take those off to prevent mealybugs, spider mites, fungus, or anything else from getting a stronghold on my plants. And this that I'm taking off is the old leaf, the part that's left from when the leaf, which is a normal process. The leaves, they do as the plant matures, older leaves, they will die and they'll come off. And this here part, it kind of holds on for some reason. I don't know. Again, I'm not a botanist. I'm not a horticulturalist. But I try to remove it because I don't want any little hiding places for bugs or disease. So I think that I have got most of the old, damaged velamin off of here. I may clean up a little bit more before I take this into the other room to wash it under the sink with the, nice tepid temperature of water. You don't want to put hot water because you can hurt the plant if the water is too hot, and you don't want cold water for the same reason, because if it's too cold you can hurt the plant. So I think I'm going to try to remove this spike a bit here. It's kind of in the way of what I'm trying to look at. So, and it's old, it's not doing anything to benefit the plant anyway, so I'm just going to take that off. And I'm just kind of cleaning up a little bit. Very happy with the spike on this plant. It looks quite nice. Even with the neglect it endured last year. Well, we're in 2026, so I guess it was not just 2025, but portion of 2024 and 2025. Okay, that feels good. That's strong. That is not giving. That's good. Okay, I think I got that about as clean as I'm going to get it before I go in and take it into the sink and wash it. This currently has 3 nice healthy leaves on this side over here. And it has 2 healthy leaves on this side here. Again, the spike, it has the one spike. Let me turn it around here so you can see the spike. The nice fall of blooms on the spike. It's very gorgeous. They are just such a beautiful bloom. And let's take a look and see if we still have, and we do. So if you look here, this is the very last bloom on the spike, on the current spike, but if you look right here, there is another growing right there above my thumbnail, is another possible bloom developing, which will elongate the spike one more time with another bud, hopefully another bloom. That's great. So I'm going to go in the other room. I'm going to wash this off under the nice tepid water, and I'm going to wash this, and I'll be right back. All right, so I went and I cleaned her quite well, cleaned up some of the fertilizer buildup that was forming a little bit at the top. Got all the excess that was loose that I might have missed with my fingers. I got that off of the remaining root pieces that would come off, that was loose enough to come off. So that's cleaned up quite a bit. I'll pull this, another old leaf part there. Pull that off. Pull off another one. And there's just kind of some cleanup that's long overdue, sadly, for this plant. It's just an amazing plant, and plants are so unbelievably resilient. Many times we think, oh, they're so delicate, and they are, I guess, in their own right, but you have to think where they grow in the wild. You know, there's squirrels, possibly monkeys, birds landing on them, landing on their root systems. So they go through a lot in the wild, and then we bring them into our homes. Although a hybrid, you won't find growing in the wild. But I think you get what I'm getting at, is that they can take a lot more than we kind of think that they might be able to. And they can bounce back if we give them the care that they need, even after a time frame of some neglect. No matter what led to that neglect, we're willing to put the time in after that. The orchid will reward you. The plant will reward you. I mean, just look at these gorgeous, amazing blooms on this beautiful orchid plant. So I cleaned the orchid pretty well. I cleaned her vessel that she resides in quite well. And so we're going to put her back in and put her back in the little space that she grows in. If you have any questions or comments, please go ahead and add them in the comment section. I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video today, and I will provide updates. I do already have a playlist for this orchid on my channel, so if you'd like to, I will link at the end of this video to that, so you can go take that and look at that. I'm going to move the camera because I can't quite get the so here's the other side of that same spray. It's just beautiful, and the lovely flower is such a soft, gentle pink, and I love the little spots and the way that her bottom lip here is split in two. There's probably an official name for that. I am not a botanist. I am not a horticulturalist. I am simply a hobbyist who loves her flowers and the beauty that they bring to my home during the winter, especially when it's cold in Colorado and there's not a lot of flowers that I can step outside to see on a walk or in my garden outside. So I hope you all have an amazing day. Take care, and thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions, comments, please add them. Take care.